Well, good morning, guys. I thought I'd do a little video here on a Sunday morning that might be quite interesting. There will be spoilers here, just to be clear. So if you're out of the loop, I just finished my first initial blind playthrough series of End of Dragons. I did it over 3 weeks, 15 episodes. Now, the last several of those episodes were dealing with the end game storylines and side quests and stuff to do with Zunra, the Ministry of Purity, catching up with Marjorie at the end of the adventure and seeing what she has to say. And there's actually a whole other ending, which is quite cool. But one of the very, very last things I did was return to some post-game conversations between Aurene and Soo Won, in which, they discuss the state of things as Soo Won is dying, really. And they kind of dissatisfied me, because I feel like one of the biggest things of interest about the story that ArenaNet's crafted is Soo Won as this dragon that's now on our side, but ultimately is the deep sea dragon, is the creator of all this mess, as she's essentially portrayed to be. And in that capacity as one of those dragons has seen over millennia, thousands of years, several civilizations die out. She's watched as her children that she raised as these mindless things destroy and perpetuate all this destruction and chaos and hate. And I was kind of disappointed by the very end of the game. It's kind of like what they did with my Trin, where they have Aurene sitting there being sympathetic and say, oh, you just wanted to be a mum, that's why you came back and helped out with the mortals. And I felt like they didn't really do justice to what a complicated character Soo Won is and how evil and complacent she'd been. Now, one of the reasons for that is because one of the central points of Soo Won's story is a moment that happens off screen. It's when Kunavang comes to Soo Won and says, hey, you've got to help the mortals out, and together they hold back the wave of the Zhaitan disaster, and then Soo Won starts helping out around Encantha for the past 125 years or so. So I think that's a really amazing moment. This debate between Kunavang and the deep sea dragon Mother, who, you can kind of understand where she's coming from. She created this planet, everything we see, and Mother, is playing the long game. They even have that line a little bit, that's alluded to for a brief moment in the story, that Soo Won always looks long-term, and yes, these dragon cycles are killing all these people, but at the end of the day, it all exists as well, maybe because of what she'd done. So, there's this debate in the middle of the story, or rather, I should say, in the middle of the timeline, the Zhaitan disaster, that is, huge to me, and I really wish we'd looked at it more. So anyway, that made me realize, hold on, what were the trailers for End of Dragons? It is the debate. It's the moment, this kind of crucial part of the storyline. So I thought here at the very end, having finished that that 15 episode playthrough, I want to look back at the 2 trailers for End of Dragons with the context for the whole story and just sort of see how they feel. So I played these at the end of the playlist itself, but I didn't listen to them. So let's see how the dialogue goes, and let's just enjoy and see how all of the story came to a conclusion. And immediately, what I'll tell you straight away is this makes a lot more sense because I recognize their voices now, which I really struggled with before. So I don't remember what I first said when we saw this. What was it, 2 years ago now? But we'll do the teaser first, and we'll do the trailer second. They're both pretty short, but it'll be a fun little video. Let's go.
This land, it's a monument to mortal resilience.
So there we go. That's the Xingji Arena, of course. It's Cantha. Remember when we very first saw this, there was no confirmation it was Cantha at all. And it was just this big moment. I actually remember right when this came out, I was very disconnected from Guild Wars as a franchise. Very disconnected. It was like weeks after I'd done a big channel announcement on YouTube about other plans. And then all of a sudden we were looking at some Canthan stuff. So you can already tell from that voice, I had no idea back in the day. That's Kunavang as she's portrayed in Guild Wars 2. She has a very different voice in Guild Wars 2 than she did in Guild Wars 1. But this is Kunavang. This is Navan, as we now know her. And it is really cool to think that, even all that time ago, 24 months ago plus, they had this all plotted out. They kind of knew the whole thing. And so this is the debate. We're technically right after the Zhaitan disaster. So you might say that all the water and the bubbles and stuff that we see in this, yeah, you can think of it as sort of just a general theme for the expansion. You can think of it as Deep Sea Dragon related. But you might also think this is some kind of representation of the Zhaitan wave and the Zhaitan disaster, which, we never could have predicted or even begun to think of when this first was shown to us. Where the camera is the wave, right? Smashing through the city. It's an interesting thought, no?
They built new lives upon the very thing that sought to end theirs.
Here we go, look, we're destroying Kaineng. I really like that interpretation. And Kunavang is, pleading with, the merits of these mortals.
sparkles are little flames.
Boom. Boom, we get the other voice, Mother's voice. The trailer's quality is breaking apart real bad here. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why it's doing that exactly. We'll have to blame VLC. But yeah, immediately, so we got Mother, and here's her view.
Brilliant, hot, then gone. Those who face eternity easily forget what a lifetime means, what an ending means.
So this bit of the trailer, I don't really... I mean, obviously, we're alluding to the fact that this is going to be the expansion to end the Dragon storyline. Have we, like, skipped the debate now? Is this the deep sea... Soo Won has realized, okay, you're right, Kunavang. We've skipped the debate, and these sentences here are her, like, explaining her fully. You know, I faced eternity, I forgot what an ending means or something.
You know it doesn't have to be this way.
No, Kunavang, it does.
See, this bit of the trailer is weird to me. She says, you know, this doesn't have to be this way. This is the start of the debate, I guess, actually, still. And she's still fighting for her perception for the dragon cycle. I really wish we'd had this back and forth, you know, this matter of philosophy. You know, there's kind of a big theme. Ritlock's talking about it in POF with just the Guild Wars story, and that's short-term versus long-term thinking, right? Ritlock saying short-term gains always lead to long-term losses. You know, that kind of encapsulates the jeopardy and the trickiness about the Elder Dragon cycle, and I can see it being talked about just a little bit here in the trailer. I remember when we first watched this as well, we thought this might be a scrying pool vision, and Aurene would instantly be in the know about all these details, and it would kick off the expansion. But in the end, actually, I think that's not really true, right?
They need me.
So it doesn't have to be this way. They need me. They need the dragon cycle, I suppose. Soo Won not being convinced there. But there you go. So that's the first trailer. The other trailer, of course, is dealing a lot more with... came out a lot later and is dealing with June and Dragon Tech. And, you know, it's funny, despite the fact that this one's a lot more recent, I remember a lot less about it going into it right now. I'm sure it'll become familiar in a second. Here we go. Let's see what
There's familiarity in this strangeness. Like a song, half remembered.
I remember. Okay, so yeah, this is Aurene's, like, early connections with the Deep Sea Dragon, which kind of gets a little bit glossed over as well. But obviously, in End of Dragons, we're going to get those dreamscape sequences where we're clued into the fact that they're communicating and stuff. The idea that it's a song half remembered, I'm not quite sure how that sort of came across into anything else.
A tune without words to carry it. I know you, and yet I don't.
You will soon, little one.
Okay, so there you go. So that's Soo Won. So the previous trailer is Kunavang and Soo Won. We open this one with Aurene speaking to Soo Won. And I think we start rolling into the Canthons too as well.
Who are you talking to?
Just an echo in the mist. A possibility.
So this line makes a lot of sense now. Actually, this little snippet of this conversation is actually kind of sad in a way. So the way I interpret this now is this is June and Soo Won in Cantha talking about, like, Aurene. This is Soo Won has realized Aurene is out there. The echo in the mist, the possibility, is Aurene, the prismatic dragon. And so at the time of this conversation, June and Soo Won, they're at the reactor, they're doing their thing with the Dragon Jade. And what's sad about it is Soo Won is realizing, oh, there's a way through this. And this is like the hatching of the plan to have the reactor gone and all this kind of stuff. Which is sad because June's not clued in on this, and this is going to be sort of the start of the end.
Look around us. Your children would be trapped in the past, if not for me.
And now we've cut forwards. Soo Won's explained this, and June's not happy. Your children, that's the Canthons, that's the mortals, right? Would be trapped in the past without Dragon Jade. Look at, they'd be, you know, in this primitive place or whatever. June's heard that there's this plan that might mean that it all comes crumbling down, and she's not happy. Which is kind of funny, actually, because, well, at least that's how I interpret this, but by the end of the story, Dragon Jade's still around and so on.
Look around us. Your children would be trapped in the past, if not for me. Their worlds are carved from the jade that I gave purpose. I promised them a future. A century of progress cannot end this way.
There you go, see? Okay, this is good. Oh, this is pretty much parallel to what's going on in the events of the story.
I'm not... Cantha's not just a spoke in some grand cosmic wheel.
Would a great innovator give up so easily on that promised future.
This is really big stuff they're talking about, and then the shot of the skiff feels weird to me, actually, at this point now.
I won't. I'll find a way to save us all.
Oh, this is an interesting moment there. That's an interesting cut. We start thinking about how June tries to save everyone and what she'll accomplish, and immediately makes me think of the whole thing with the extractor. And right as I start thinking about the solution and the extractor, boom, we get Anka on screen with the energy, and there's like this, you know, this antagonistic force who's the other side of the extractor story. I kind of like that. I don't know whether that was intentional or not. And my Trin at the side of Anka almost. I think in the context of the trailer that actually makes sense, you know, the emphasis on her over my Trin to a degree. And then Aureen's sort of at the end again, sort of bookends the trailer there. And we put out. Yeah, I think trailer 2. I think both of them, actually. I think both trailers work a lot better with the full context of the story. I don't know. I thought that would just be a fun little thought experiment as I literally wake up this morning, drink some coffee. I thought I'd make a little video out of it. Give me some of your thoughts, guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Yeah, and it's going to be weird, right? Maybe there'll be another expansion announcement soon. They may have a teaser for us, and we can do this cycle again. Who knows? Thanks, guys. Let me know what you think. And if you're curious about my thoughts on the previous trailers, maybe go back, check those out. Or the full playthrough itself, the Let's Play, is now done. So enjoy, guys, and I'll see you next time.